Welcome, gang. This is Alfred Einstein again. Happy to bring you my working pre-foreclosure leads in Florida video today. Now, I recently came across a video wherein a presenter, it was on YouTube, suggested that if you wanted to become a successful investor, you needed to learn how to work pre-foreclosure leads. Now, my 40 years, I've never heard of the term before. So I went looking to see what I could find. So I searched the term, and this page goes on and on. I originally recorded a little search video for it, and it goes all the way down, but you can't hear me talking very well, so I just figured I would narrate it from here instead of having you try to listen to that. But the point is, there's a lot of guys, and I understand it, that have their own idea about how to work pre-foreclosures, and a lot of them are brilliant. But I disagree with quite a few of them in this one instance, and it's a very important one as well. In Florida, there's no public record that indicates a homeowner's financial distress. So if somebody says, I'm going to work a pre-foreclosure, that means they've got to know something before the foreclosure occurs. I couldn't figure out, but I did sit down and think about it. I couldn't figure out where they might get this information. And as I thought about it, I started from the beginning in the state of Florida. Because the first indication that anybody in the public domain has regarding a pending foreclosure is when an LP is filed. For those of you that have seen my other videos, I might have talked about it in that video. If not, an LP is short for lis pendens, which means in Latin, litigation pending. So the LP appears in the public record. It's recorded at the time that the attorney for the plaintiff or the bank, they file their complaint for foreclosure and they submit an LP. The LP gets recorded, the complaint goes into the clerk's file. So in Florida, that's the first indication we have that a homeowner is having some trouble. And I had to really sit down and think about where else this pre-foreclosure information is coming from. Okay, so I can go to a fortune teller. I can go to this here monkey. I thought that was a kind of neat looking picture. Anyways, who can tell me the future? The only entities, I suppose, that know of a foreclosure before it's publicly noticed is going to be the homeowner because they're delinquent in their payments, the lender because they know the homeowner's delinquent in their payments. It's going to be the attorney because they're going to be asked by the lender to prepare the foreclosure package and the complaint and the LP, and the credit bureaus because they see the delinquencies being reported by the lender about the homeowner. So you've got to have contact with one of those four, at least, and you have to count on them giving you information that in most cases is going to be either against the law or against their license. So I don't know. Could this be? And I thought it through a little bit further. All right, so let's start with the homeowner. First of all, a homeowner that's in financial distress is not going to answer their door a lot anyways. Number two, do you think they're going to talk to a complete stranger? No, they're not going to. The lender, it's against all kind of federal regulations for them to give you any information without authorization. And you think you're just going to knock on a door and get an authorization from a guy who never met you before? Forget it. Not going to happen. The lender's attorney, it's against the rules of the bar. For whatever state they're in, they can't give you any information, and they won't give you any information. They'll stonewall you. The credit bureau is the one thing that I'm thinking, you know what, maybe there's a hole there. Maybe they'll do it. Because back in the day when I used to collect credit card debt, there was a report that the credit bureau put out, and those were called 30, 60, 90-day delinquencies. So those were people that were delinquent on their credit card obligations, which of course can fold ahead to their property. But credit cards are the first thing to go. But so that's a story for another day. But I didn't want to invest any money to see what they cost, any time to see if they were still available, because I'm just not interested in trying to talk to a homeowner that has a problem that may get resolved before it gets to the real pressure point. Because people that are behind in their payments, they're already trying to make steps to get something fixed. They're going to call Uncle Joe and Aunt Louie and see if we can get something done. Help me get my house back in order. Help me get current with my mortgage. That's going to happen a lot before the foreclosure is filed. Now here we are, a fork in the road. A fork in the road because one way is to try to get a hold of homeowners in foreclosure before they're in foreclosure. I don't know. The whole thing doesn't make any sense to me. Even if I could, I wouldn't want to. My fork of the road says, I'm going to go my way. I'm not worried about being the first one to the house, because this whole process takes time. Now, in your state, you may be a non-judicial state, and the process might only take 35, 45 days. But if you're in a judicial state, it's going to take time, and time is on your side when a homeowner is dealing with the pressures of foreclosure. If you don't have a lot of time, you can take my advice and just step it up a little bit. But here's the fork in the road. Like I said, I completely disagree with wanting to be the first party in or be there before the foreclosure is filed. And I'm going to tell you why in just a sec. All right, for those of you that don't recognize that, and because I barely know which end of a screwdriver to hold, I had to study what this was. It's a pressure gauge. It's indicating pressure, which is exactly what the foreclosure is going to do to that homeowner. It's going to put them under pressure. And tick tock, the closer we get to a foreclosure sale date being set, the more pressure is going to be on this homeowner. Now, if you took any of my short sale classes, it's a great course. You'll make some money with it, and that gives you the best way, and really the only way, to deal with a homeowner that has no equity. But what I'm going to talk about now is a homeowner that has equity. They got no equity, you got to go short sale, or they're going to lose it. That's the simple mathematics of it. Are some of them going to be able to save their property? Yeah. 1%, maybe. Upside down, they owe more than it's worth, short sale. They have equity, you're going to continue along the path that I'm going to guide you along for the next few minutes. Again, don't worry about being the first one there, because time has got to pass in order for the homeowner to understand the reality of the situation that they're in. And I'm going to read from the text, and then I'm going to comment. This realization might come from their relatives, friends, or discussions with their spouse. Maybe something you said or left behind at the property prompted some inner monologue. You can really never know what brings them to reality, but hopefully something will before it's too late. For some homeowners, that time won't be until they've been served. I mean, they'll start getting mail from attorneys the day their action is filed against them, and they'll be going, what's going on? I don't know, for nothing. I haven't heard anything. You heard anything, honey? I haven't heard anything. And then when they get served, boom, it hits them like a ton of bricks. Maybe that's when they're going to feel it and start to address the problem. However, for others, it might not be until their mailboxes are filled each day with copies of court notices and filings. Because what happens is the foreclosure dredges on, man. Every day something's moving. You're moving towards a hearing. Another hearing is set. You get an order. All that stuff is going to be copied to the homeowner in his mailbox. If the homeowner gives his email address to the court, it'll fill up his inbox in his email account. But in any event, it's moving forward every day. And there's still others, very unfortunately, who refuse to accept the current situation until the sheriff arrives to their house to put them out. Very sad. But it's factually a part of foreclosure. My point in all this discussion is that getting to the homeowner early is no guarantee of success. The best thing an investor can do with the homeowners in foreclosure is employ what I call hang around marketing. Just hanging around. With this method, you'll never seem too eager or overbearing. Stopping at the home once a week early in the foreclosure, and maybe twice weekly, just to check and see if there's anything that you might be able to do for them as the foreclosure process moves forward. The best you can hope for is that when the homeowner comes around to the reality of the situation that they're in, you'll be the next person they talk to. And I have some ideas, and my hang around training will also give you some insight as to some of the things that I did that worked for me when I was a young investor and I had lots of hair. I don't have any more hair, I know. All right, let's move on. My hang around marketing is a very well thought out plan and worked very well for me in my early years. It's based on my belief that no matter how smooth, how experienced, and you can fill in any self-flattering adjective here, any investor thinks that they are, that no one can make anybody take an action that they aren't already prepared to take. So let's say if you go to the stereo store, Best Buy, and you're looking around the stereos, nobody can make you buy one unless you want to buy it. You have to already want to buy it. The salesman can't go, magic word, and make you buy that stereo. There's no such thing. Just like there's no such thing where you can approach a homeowner that doesn't want help and make them accept your help. Can't do it. Doesn't exist. And if you believe in this too, then you understand how timing plays an important factor. So when I say timing, I don't mean being the first one there. What I mean is being there at the right time. And unfortunately, we don't know what the right time is. So because of that, you have to be there a little more consistently. And you don't have to be there in person, but you have to be there in spirit. You have to be able to leave things behind. Again, like I told you, the homeowner's not going to answer the door a lot. So you have to have things that will be able to be identified as something you left behind that gives them encouragement, educates, and brings them closer to the true reality of what's going on. My hang around training is designed around a series of educational leave-behinds, friendly notes, warm and understanding conversations. Like a newscaster, David Brinkley, Walter Cronkite. Because people in foreclosure don't answer their doors, so when they see clarifying situational messages that inform them as well as educate, it's going to be helpful. So my hang around marketing is a lot about how to approach a homeowner in foreclosure. Now, technically, pre-foreclosure, the way I design it is, or the way I define it, is that foreclosure is a foreclosure sale. Anything before the foreclosure sale is pre-foreclosure. That's the LP. So the LP signifies the beginning of the foreclosure. But even right when the LP is out, you don't need to contact them. First of all, if you contact them, you're going to be 1 out of 100 that does a personal contact. There might be 2 or 3% of investors that send some sort of mailer that won't even get opened. I got a trick for that. I'll tell you about that in the training. but it won't even get opened, and nobody follows up. So hanging around marketing is nothing more than introducing yourself once or twice, hanging around, sending messages, putting things at their doorstep, because if it's at their doorstep, they at least have to pick it up off the floor and bring it to the garbage can. Maybe a word in there will get you. And that's the way that marketing plan is designed. But just doing it, just taking the first step, you'll be ahead of 99% of investors, because nobody wants to talk to anybody. Why? Because they don't know what to say. My hanging around is going to teach you how to do that. See if I can change screens without stopping it. No, not today. So I picked some hanging fruit for my hang around marketing. That's not coming out until 2023, I don't think. But if you'd like to be one of the first ones notified about it, just I have a thing on the comment on the bottom of the video, or you could go to the website. I'm not even sure what the website name is, but you can go to my website. It's around here somewhere. But in any event, let me quickly synopsize what we talked about. Getting to the homeowner is important. Getting to the homeowner early is a waste of time, because they're going to be delusional. They're going to be thinking too long, in most cases, that they're going to get this rectified, and they're going to be able to reinstate their mortgage, and they're going to stay in their house, and everything's going to be just like it was before we got behind on our payments. So again, when you're working LPs, the first thing you have to do is determine, do you have equity in that property? If you do, hanging around marketing is what you want to do with homeowners that have equity, because you can help them. You can buy their house. Homeowners without equity, you got to go short sale. And believe it or not, you'll be able to buy their house too, and you'll make more money. So in any event, I hope you look at my short sale training. This is Alfred Einstein signing off for Pockets of Specialized Knowledge. Have a great week, and I'll see you on the next one.